Hello, and welcome to another episode of 9 to 5 Nerds with Robert Swathwood, Katrina Swathwood.
Hello.
And longtime listener, first-time guest, Jeremy Smith.
Hello.
That was a nice intro.
Yeah, I'm trying to be professional, and I'm going to jump right into not being professional.
Cool.
I think the first time, before Jeremy and I knew each other very well, the first time there was a reference to this, I got a text that said Parker's dad bleeds from his ass.
Well, that's accurate.
Yeah. To get way too much information, it happened again 2-3 weeks ago, and I had to go to urgent care again and get scoped.
You make constant urgent care visits, yes.
No, I you know what's funny is I made 2 for rectal bleeding and 1 for testicular pain. Those are the only times I've gone to urgent care. The other times I took other people to urgent care. But no, it was just a internal hemorrhoid. But yeah, that was the first time, and I didn't even know you that well at that point.
Yeah, that's when you were just Parker's dad.
Yeah, I was just Parker's dad. Now I have a name. So he's been listening for quite some time, and we've said for, 2 years, hey, you should be on, you should be on, you should be on. And
it's happening.
It's happening.
It's happening.
But, it had to be the right circumstance where we were both watching something at the same time that was fresh. I mean, to go back and do I know your favorite movie, one of your favorite movies is Goonies, and to go back and do something like that would be, it's probably been talked about 1,000 times.
At least 1,000 times.
So it had to be something fresh. I texted you ask if you were watching. Did you start watching this before me, or did I mention it to you?
I think honestly, I heard it in one of your last podcasts.
Okay.
It was something you were talking about then, and I brought it up to my daughter Riley, who's 14, and wasn't sure if it was age appropriate, but I kind of let it slide, the age appropriate stuff, because I have the I was raised a little differently than that.
We all were.
I think
Katrina's thing was what you saw Silence of the Lambs at way too young.
Oh, way too young.
And I saw Nightmare on Elm Street when I had to have been 5 or 6. So
I had 2 older brothers myself, so yes, they kind of exposed me to lots of R-rated movies and music. So
yeah.
So that was my parents.
Yeah, you learned early. Well, there was just nobody around, so I just did what I wanted.
That too.
Yeah.
I was kind of left at home a lot. So
well, with 3 boys and 3.5 years apart, there's a lot of leaving at home. So we kind of did what we wanted when we were home.
Especially it was a different time. Could you imagine leaving 3 boys alone now?
No.
I don't even like leaving Parker at home for 45 minutes to go do a run.
Yeah, we've just gotten to that point where he can stay home for a half an hour. But yeah,
and I'm still in the neighborhood.
Yeah. So Midnight Mass came along, and if you're not familiar who the writer-director is, it's Mike Flanagan. I believe it's Mike Flanagan. You know who Mike Flanagan is?
Irishman?
I never do this, but I actually brought all the stuff up on my phone before we started the episode.
Great, so I don't have to do it. Awesome.
So if you're not familiar with Mike Flanagan, he directed Hush, which I really like a lot.
That was a great movie.
I know you've watched Hush as well.
I have. It is great.
Hush, from the things I've seen, The Haunting of Hill House, Dr. Sleep, and Bly Manor, which are all of those are Netflix except for Dr. Sleep.
That was great too.
Yeah. Did you see Dr. Sleep?
I have not seen Dr. Sleep yet, but
Sleep.
I do want to see that.
It's a great Halloween movie.
That was really good. I did have trouble with one of the scenes in the movie.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's you.
I have issues with things happening to children in movies. But I really like Hush. I don't know if you know this, but he's actually married to the woman that's in Hush that's also in this.
Everything else?
What, Erin Green, I think that's her name? Yeah.
Sure.
Erin Green, yes.
Yeah, so that's actually his wife, who he seems to just like to torture because she sees the worst of the worst stuff. But Midnight Mass takes place on an island.
Yes.
And strange shit starts happening, which, I mean...
Well, it's already strange to begin with.
Yeah, could you imagine living on an island with 127 people?
Having to take a ferry to the mainland?
There's parts of that I would love, but I would no doubt be on that ferry quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to be. With as much as you and your daughter like movies, just that alone.
Yeah, the getting out, it looks like on the set of the island, getting out is doing nothing. So the only way they're getting out is literally taking that ferry back to the mainland. But another interesting thing is they don't really tell you where it is. like by assuming, I assumed it was
East Coast?
probably East Coast,
Yeah,
upper
like
Northeast
New England
Coast. Yes,
type-
I
somewhere
figured
up
it was
there.
close to New York because didn't he get in his car accident in New York?
Did he? I might not have caught that information, but I mean, he also talked about living in Chicago. This is Riley, who you think of as the main character.
Yeah, Riley Flynn. With the lead in right away, they make you feel like, they show him going to prison. They show him in prison. They lead you to believe that he is the main
Focus?
focus of this
Okay.
whole show, and then you soon find out that is not the case.
I really like this cast a lot. It's definitely an ensemble. I mean, there's where you thought Riley was, and they do lean towards that. Erin has her fair share of time in the spotlight. Father, what was his name? You have it right there. Father Paul.
Yeah, Father Paul.
I think
Oh,
it's
he's great.
Father Paul. And I'll get to individual characters, but Father Paul gets his fair share amount of time. But basically, you're on this island. The island has one church. You have the crazy religious Karen,
Oh my God. Beverly?
who, God,
She was it. I didn't like her character, but she played that part
very well.
very well.
I
Well-
knew many of them when I was growing up.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of watching that goes, I know somebody like that.
I think I'm lucky that we didn't, I went to church for 8 years, and I don't remember anybody like that, honestly.
I had a principal like that.
Oh, that's awful.
And it doesn't even have to be church related. We all know somebody that is just like that. It doesn't even have to be church related. It could be anything you wanted
Has to be
discuss,
their way or no
but
way.
yes, their way or no way.
Their shit don't stink. They're
Yes,
perfect.
Absolutely.
I was wondering how I'm not an atheist, but I do wonder how people who are religious receive this show, because there's a lot of there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this, so if you haven't watched it, stop now. So,
There's a lot of religious propaganda.
Yes.
but there's also a lot of showing how being so devout and so into your faith and have blinders on that you're
Can
willing,
lead you down the wrong path.
you're willing to just disregard
The whole picture.
Common sense.
So let's get down to that. That was not an angel. That was a vampire. so
Let's be clear.
yeah, let's just break through the glass and just say that
Now, is it a
this-
vampire or is it a demon?
But that's the thing is this preacher. I'm trying for once to
He's
not
a
get
priest.
so far.
He's not a preacher.
Sorry,
Yeah,
a
he
priest.
is a priest.
Priest.
Catholic
Who had a
priest.
kid.
I use them.
Adam.
I use them interchangeably. What's
Oh.
the difference?
Pastors can get married.
Okay.
Priests cannot. They are to be celibate.
Okay. So he's a priest.
He is married to God.
Okay. Oh, that's the Catholic school coming out.
Yes.
Were you a churchgoer?
I was not. Only for a short time we would go back to visit my grandparents in Arkansas, and they were every Sunday church goers. So when we'd go back to visit, my brother and I were going to Sunday school.
Oh, fun.
They made it. They tried to make it fun, but it was still not fun.
No.
It was
Oh, no.
unbearable. And we had to get dressed up. I had to wear it I think that might have been the first time in my life I ever wore a tie.
Sunday
Okay.
best.
Yes, and my grandma unpacked our clothes that we brought with us on this trip and laid them all out, cringed, and we went to
Shopping.
We went to the local Sears or whatever the place was.
Department store.
Yes, she did not like what my mom sent us with. We went and got
New clothes.
slacks and button-up shirts and ties
Okay.
and new shoes.
Yep.
I did. Is it called catechism class?
Yes.
I did catechism class for 3 years. I was an altar boy. I've served communion.
Now, what division is it? Protestant? Or
I
is
was
it...
Lutheran,
Okay.
which is like it's Christian, but there's a lot of similarities in service to Catholicism, Catholic service. So I mean, he wore robes. He had like the shoulder thing that had the long. It was similar to Father Paul.
Right.
in these fancy robes. Flanagan likes to use the same people over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the sheriff. He was in Bly
he's
Manor.
great.
Did you watch Bly Manor?
I did not watch Blind Manor, but
he's the
I've
cook
seen that sheriff in something else.
He was in iZombie. If you watched iZombie,
I think I did.
that dude's sexy as hell. By the way, I'm just saying.
Robert's a fan.
He is ridiculously good looking. But somebody kind of attacked him online about a Hindu person playing a Muslim character, and he's like, "I'm an atheist." So, and he used the references Hindon't, not Hindu, which I found
eliminates all the attack on that is when you say, well, I'm an atheist,
Yeah.
so none of that matters.
yeah.
He's an actor. He's doing a
Right.
job.
But as far as and the drunk that was in it, he was in Doctor Sleep. Obviously, his wife's been in a lot of things.
I liked that character too.
Who?
He did that well. The town drunk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is an ensemble cast, and everybody played their part well. I always compare it, like we said, she's Beverly's Karen. You can hate somebody so much in a movie or a show, and that's when you realize they're doing a good job. And I always went back to Joaquin Phoenix in Gladiator. He was really good in that movie, and I hated him in it.
Right.
Yeah, well, I wanted to kill him.
Yeah, you wanted to kill him.
A character is great when you want to physically harm them.
Yeah.
Immediately.
But you're happy when they die.
Yeah, like Joffrey.
Joffrey.
Joffrey in Game of Thrones or Joaquin Phoenix. And so she played that part very well. So did you catch any? I didn't catch that Father Paul was the old man and he was in makeup.
I caught it right away.
See, but I didn't catch that at all, but I caught the mom. I was like, that's a younger person in old
Right.
makeup.
Oh, yes, I did catch the makeup on her. I didn't catch it on him.
Yeah.
I didn't put the two together, but I started immediately, like everybody, okay, where is this going? Who is this character? What twist?
Do you read stuff as you're watching things?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do you?
No. I don't even like watching trailers anymore.
I don't either.
But immediately I called out to my daughter. I said, Riley, so I have a feeling that he is
The Monsignor.
Monsignor.
I said that. I don't know if it was the first episode or the second one.
It was early on.
And I was like, that's the Monsignor.
See, I'm
And Robert's like,
I'm envious of you watching that with Riley because we can't get Parker to watch any of these things other than Stranger Things because he's a scaredy cat. He's like,
Well, how do you break him of that?
we dipped the toe in the water, but we started watching Gremlins and he got scared.
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
You want me to take him to a movie?
No.
Do you think he would be freaked out?
I think we're going to watch Beetlejuice this weekend because he's never seen it.
If he gets scared at Beetlejuice, then we have another problem.
Because
I think,
that's a comedy.
If he likes Tim Burton's movies, has he seen any of his other
don't
Edward
think so.
Scissorhands,
no.
Nightmare Before Christmas?
Yes, but that's
Okay.
not a Tim Burton movie.
Well, it's,
Yeah, I understand.
It's presented by Tim Burton.
Yeah. It was his
It-
vision.
If you can sit here and tell me that didn't have his hands in it,
Oh, it was like the sketches and everything, and but the guy who directed James and the Giant Peach directed Henry Selick. I don't know why that's always stuck with me.
You've
Okay.
always talked about
but
that.
that's also tied into Corpse Bride too, isn't it? James and the
Yes.
Giant Peach.
They're all-
I think he did all of them.
Yeah.
Did he? I know he did Monkey Bone as well. He's got like the market cornered on. Well, no, he didn't do any Leica movies. And like, have you watched any Leica movies like Coraline or
I have
Kubo?
watched
or
Coraline,
Kubo?
and Coraline's still affiliated with him as well, right?
I don't think
That's
so.
Neil
No, that's
Gaiman.
Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman.
They
is-
both got twisted minds. I know that.
Oh, they do.
Neil Gaiman is
Fantastic
is
writer.
a trip because he writes children's books all the way to like very, very
Adult
adult
books.
Yeah, you got to be in a different mindset to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Differentiate from what is kid friendly and what is not kid friendly.
I
And
read
then-
it was Ocean at the End of the Lane, and it was him writing in the perspective of a child seeing like adult things, and it was really, really interesting on how he described things because the kid didn't really know what he was seeing, and I thought it was really, really trippy.
That made me want to actually.
It's a very short read. We have it.
Is it?
Mhm.
I know. I got you into him.
You did.
I was researching a book that she would enjoy reading, and I picked up American Gods, which is a fantastic book, which he wrote.
We got to get Parker watching scarier movies.
I know. I agree. But back to reoccurring characters. The character Father Paul, I actually really enjoyed that character a lot. Like I
Because he came full circle.
yeah, he came full circle.
He's like, whoops.
He's a very, very
made some mistakes.
Yeah, he's a very good actor. Just his facial expressions and when he's giving speeches and our sermons, whatever.
Sermons.
And it's just, I really enjoyed his character, and I know it's the point of the show, but I couldn't help but just watch as what religion can do. That's why I was wondering how religious people felt, which none of us are here, so that kind of is a moo point. But it can blind you to something, and I know we've been saying that more people are killed by religion than anything else in the history of the world, but it blinded these people to see you can't see my air quotes. They saw a vampire. I mean, this thing is biting people in the neck and drinking blood,
and has bony wings,
and is
and
saying
they're calling him an angel.
An angel. And there was some heartbreaking moments in this because it's very slow. The first 3 episodes.
They're building the burn, man.
Yeah, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I believe that it really worked here because when the shit hits the fan, it goes fucking fast.
Yeah.
You have all these people that are drinking
blood.
I mean, I know there's the metaphor.
Yeah, there was definitely blood.
So they're drinking blood and there's miracles happening.
Right.
And or curses when somebody's losing their baby. But
did you notice when these miracles were happening that something else was happening before that miracle happened?
What do you mean?
Okay, so the scene where Monsignor asks the girl that's paralyzed
to get up
and walk. Okay, so before that happened, the town druggie was attacked.
Yeah.
By the angel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Air quotes, angel. And then the next day is that miracle that happened. So every miracle that happened, there was a death in the town right before.
Huh.
So like he was taking someone's life
and giving it to somebody else
and turning it into a miracle and somewhere else.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't make that connection.
Well, because he was getting the vampire's blood and giving it to the old lady.
Yeah, as she became younger.
To reverse her age.
Because that's his
lady.
His lady,
yeah. Yeah, I could see that right away that she was an older lady. And then within like a couple episodes, she's already younger than her daughter.
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, this is happening really fast. But man, Riley, I mean, you said he was the main character, and he was for a couple episodes. And it's always interesting when a main character is killed off. But, it was an emotional end. Because, I mean, he rowed that boat out into the middle of the water, and it wasn't to change her. It was so he couldn't get away.
Right. He couldn't hide.
And then she has to watch this. He has acceptance at the end. And I don't know, forgiving of sins, maybe.
Well, just coming to terms with something that happened. Like, people carry things around with them every single day.
He was really good.
And they never get past it. And it just constantly eats at them and eats at them and eats at them.
And he finally got past it.
And he finally got past it.
Did you notice that Riley's dad, do you know who he is?
No.
Elliot.
No way.
Yeah. That's why I call him Elliot. I don't even know his name. I was like, oh, it's Elliot.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old is Elliot now? Let's see. E.T. was 1982.
Sure.
Something around there.
82. So.
Because he was in.
And he was probably between 10 and 12 when they filmed E.T.
So he's in his late 50s.
He's been in all these Netflix series.
Yeah,
wow.
he was in Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor and this.
Where has he been for 30?
Hanging out on his E.T. money.
Yeah. The
E.T. money. That's got to be good, right? Spielberg took most of that.
Oh, I'm sure.
The mayor, who was he was married to the black woman. They had the paralyzed child. Yeah. He was the big guy in Hush that got stabbed in the neck.
He was Nick.
He's the
in How I Met Your Mother.
The boyfriend that comes over.
And he gets stabbed and he's like, dude, it's over.
Yeah.
That's a brutal scene.
And he keeps fighting.
Yeah.
How did he get, because he was huge in Hush.
Yeah.
How old is Hush? They can't be that old, right?
6-7 years.
Oh, it's that old. Okay.
I think. Now,
I was late to the party when I watched it.
Yeah, that was another movie Robert told me that I needed to watch, and so
it's
So
5
you
years.
did.
I grabbed my partner in crime, my daughter Riley.
Have you guys watched Creep yet?
No,
Oh,
what's
that's
Creep?
a good one.
It's so good.
I'm taking Riley to see the new Halloween next week.
I've never got into Halloween movies.
Oh,
I mean,
I think it started for me at a young age, probably Oliver's age, watching the.
I saw H2O in
Halloweens.
theaters. I remember that.
Yeah, some of the Halloween movies are duds, are really not good. But
I was always a
like
Freddy fan.
these last two that they've put out. The Rob Zombie one kind of goes a little different, a little more.
Well, he is different.
Michael Myers is huge,
Jacked.
like a monster, like you'd actually think he would be, right? But this last Halloween that came out was really good. So Riley was like, "Oh, we have to go see it." As soon as she saw the trailer, we have to go see it. Dad, the trailer's out. Dad, the trailer's out.
That's cool.
I just love that Jamie Lee Curtis is back.
The show wouldn't, the movie would be no good if she didn't come back to do that.
She's great.
She's the main.
Yeah.
Like, that's her thing.
Yeah, that she should definitely be in any of those movies that they do.
Have you seen this video floating around of this girl's she's like 3 or 4 and it's her birthday party and she's obsessed with Michael Myers. So she's at her birthday party and you see him come around like the garbage.
Does she get way too
and
excited?
He's just standing there and she's so excited.
She's going to like run up and hug him?
Yeah, she ended up doing it.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it's like the kids that bow to Vader and stuff at Disneyland and you're just like, oh my God.
Like our kid.
Yeah. Picking the red lightsaber.
Right, red lightsaber without hesitation right off the...
Yeah, whose kid is he?
I'm not sure.
Come on, you know when he does something bad and one of you are like...
Oh,
It's
it's totally
always
me.
Katrina.
finger
Yeah.
pointing.
She even just...
It's totally me.
It's totally you.
Yeah.
I'm the emotional sad sap. You see it in Parker all the time. But
So
No,
that's why you're
non-feeling
the reason
demon.
he doesn't watch scary movies?
I've always loved scary movies. But
At his age?
yeah, I was super into Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a kid.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
All of
She's never
those.
seen any
Friday
of
the
them.
13th, Halloween, Nightmare on
It's a
Elm
different
Street,
time.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
Oh,
It was like gangster movies and action movies and James Bond and Paint Your Wagon.
Paint Your Wagon. What's
Mhm.
Paint Your Wagon?
It's a Western.
Okay, so Creep, just real quick, because we've talked about Creep ad nauseum on here, but Creep has 2 people in the entire movie, and it's shot on found footage, and it's like an hour and 5 minutes.
and it's shot on found footage. So by you saying
Shaky
that,
camera.
I immediately go to Shaky Camera and Blair Witch Project.
But it's not that.
It's not that bad.
It's so... Did you ever watch The League?
I never saw The League. No,
You never saw The League? I'm trying to think of what else he's in, but
He's in weird stuff.
He's in weird stuff. And
He's in the
it's-
morning show on Apple TV.
Did you ever watch a morning show?
no.
I didn't
Only
either.
thing you made me get the Apple TV
For Ted Lasso.
for Ted Lasso.
Season 2 finale is
And
on
that's-
tonight.
Don't tell me that. I think we're still at the end of season 1.
No.
I don't know. We're at the Christmas episode.
That's
We
season
just
2.
finished the.
That's season
okay,
2.
we just finished the
That's
Christmas
like the
episode.
3rd episode.
Yeah.
No, but let's back to Creep is really good. So it's so...
Is it a show
tense.
or is it a movie?
No,
It's
it's
a
a
movie.
movie.
Okay,
There's
It's a
2 of them
movie.
out.
Yeah, there's 2. They're talk of a 3rd one.
and they're on Netflix. Or
Yep.
okay,
So as this goes on, things get progressively worse. But there is some redeeming, the preacher, the 2 people in there that were young people in old makeup, obviously had a fling at some point, or not a fling.
It's very common. It is spotlighting something that the church is dealing with on a regular basis. There's been a lot of pushback to let priests get married and actually have a life and a partner.
normal life.
Right, because it helps their mental state.
And maybe less people get molested.
That too. But there's been a lot of flack and pushback because that's just not the way you do things in the Catholic Church. So it's really common. Like we had people, in my high school, we had brothers and a lot of them would leave because they would get tired of the solidarity and, being by themselves and solemn. And a lot of them have drinking
Bored.
problems
Yes.
and drug problems.
Turn to
and-
everything else.
So it was kind of shining a light on that in a side way. Like it wasn't like a main focus, but that happens a lot. There's been babies found under,
my
the
God.
covenant, like where the sisters are, that's been a big thing that happens.
Jesus.
Nuns get pregnant and then, what do you do with the kid?
That's horrible.
It is horrible.
That's way worse than a vampire.
Yeah.
The truth
Yes.
is way worse than a vampire.
Right.
But, you have this Karen lady that's basically convincing all these people to do terrible, terrible things, like the most devout religious person
And
in
she's
town.
hiding in the back room as they're all doing this.
And then she gets shot. Like that scene where everybody, they've already had this vampire blood. So where they're all drinking poison and they're trying to get their daughter to drink it.
That part was the part I was cringing watching that. Like the parents like, no, drink it.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's
Drink the Kool-Aid.
like the timing wasn't right. And all of a sudden you got chaos happening left and right.
Uh-huh.
And
that was a bloody scene.
That got very gory real quick.
Yeah. Because they got hungry.
Yeah. That's why he
They
kept
need their blood.
He told her he wanted the doors locked so that they could get everybody acclimated. But I don't see how you get those people acclimated. They're hungry for blood. Did you see the scene where the dad was looking at his daughter and all of a sudden
he could see her veins
get highlighted and he starts to lose focus on what he's saying?
I was wondering if the sheriff's kid, I really thought he wasn't going to turn at all. Because he drank poison. Like, there was people that didn't go to the church that didn't drink the poison. Or
that
didn't
means
drink
he
the
took the
blood.
communion.
That means he took communion. Because I didn't know if he had taken communion or not. Because if he wouldn't have taken communion and he would have taken the poison, then he would have just died. And I thought his dad was going to have to watch him just choke and die.
Right. And there's so many parallels. You go to the Catholic religion, you have these people supposedly taking communion, and you find out they're actually drinking poison so that they die and come back and as I don't even know what you call them. I mean, the only signs that they really showed is are they vampires?
They're sub-vampires.
Sub-vampires? Vampires that can't fly? Or
Heaven's Gate?
Yeah, I don't know.
They haven't aged enough for their wings.
The only thing that really changed on any of those characters was their eyes, the cat glow from the eyes.
But they were eating people.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't it look like the preacher was going to sprout wings at some point? Like when he was in his room and he was like convulsing, basically?
Yeah,
I thought he was going to sprout wings. He didn't.
No.
But now, so you get further into the story and the crazy lady's like, we're burning everything down. We're starting new. Or no, she was burning part of the town down. And they were all going to go into the
church.
Community. No, the community.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
the
right.
community center where all those beds were
Pruitt
magically
centered.
made and candles lit and
then
all I thought about was Heaven's Gate.
Yep, Heaven's Gate. Sheriff Big Balls and Awesome Aaron come down and burn the last couple places down, and then
they
you
have
see
nowhere to
this
go.
panic. And then you're seeing people that are hoping they're forgiven. So it's like they know that they did this. And it's just like regular people. They do the worst fucking things possible and then hope that they're, oh, I hope I'm forgiven, because you can, in this religion, you can do the worst fucking thing.
Oh, you mean Sunday Catholics?
Yeah, Sunday Catholics. So they get those last couple of buildings and you get to watch all these people
scramble.
The most religious lady, and she mentioned it. They claw the religious, the people that don't believe, they claw for a few seconds at the end of their lives, and she's the one on the beach trying to dig a fucking hole
to hide from the sun.
To hide from the sun. Whereas like the bearded guy goes with the kid, and there's people that are breaking
and
up.
he asked forgiveness.
Yep.
And the kid's like, I'm pretty sure I just killed my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I forgive you.
Yeah, the other altar boy.
Yeah.
So I had to wear those robes. I didn't have to do the scents, the smoke.
I can't remember if it was 5th or 6th grade when they started letting girls do altar service, but that was a big freaking fight at our Catholic school.
So when I was, it would have been 7th and 8th grade were my last years of serving communion. I didn't know what anxiety was. I thought everybody
just felt that
felt
way all the
this
time.
way all the time. So being an altar boy, I that was like
you're performing
full anxiety. Like I stressed about it for weeks when I knew it was my turn. I sweated. I got sick to my stomach.
You can't drop the communion. You can't do.
It was the worst.
Yeah.
It was the worst fucking thing.
Do you guys have those little plastic shot glasses
with
the grape juice?
We had we had glass
or cranberry, whatever it was. They
didn't serve the wine to anybody else except the person that did it was the priest.
We had wine, and then I think once a month instead of the glasses, there'd be the chalice, and you'd have pita bread instead of the wafer, and you could dip it in
the wine,
the blood of Christ, and eat it. But I remember being in line, and this memory just came back as we're talking about this. I put the pita bread in my mouth because I forgot that I was going to dip it. So then I had to take a drink out of the cup from the priest or from the pastor. And I took it was
biggest
terrible.
gulp?
I accidentally took like the biggest fucking gulp of this. Oh
Getting
God,
drunk
it was
in
terrible. Ugh. It's not wine, Katrina. It's the blood of Christ.
Oh, that's the blood
The
of
pita
Christ.
bread was supposed to like soak it up for
Yeah,
you.
you're supposed to just dip a little bit.
So you get both. You get the body and the blood.
Yeah, so
at the same time.
I also did like during Christmas, there's the whole thing about Jesus washing the feet of I was one of the people who they washed my feet. Like
Oh, you were chosen.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't want anyone touching my feet like
Yeah,
that.
feet are gross.
So-
Like even when my wife Jen goes to get pedicures, she's like, "Hey, you want to go to get a pedicure with me?" And I said, "No, not really.
It's
you
weird.
go have fun."
It's weird. I like the feet soak part, but then I don't like it when they start touching my feet.
Yeah, I don't like people touching my feet.
I can soak my own feet at home.
So everybody dies. In this
Except
show,
the two kids.
Except for the two kids
In the
right?
boat.
And then she can't feel her legs again.
Right.
So her body's
Because the vampire died.
filter. Oh, you didn't watch that last
That
minute.
last 10 minutes, the
So
final 10 minutes.
her and the other
Her boyfriend.
Riley's young brother go out and they watch this all happen from the water. And at the very last thing, she's like, "I can't feel my legs," and then it ends. But did you see the part with Aaron getting bit on her neck by the vampire?
I did see that.
Okay, and she's cutting his wings
Yeah.
with a knife. You see him flying at the very, very end.
He's trying to leave.
He's trying to leave. Did he survive?
No.
Because it looked like at the very end you could see him on fire.
Because he's the catalyst that changed everything on the island. It was his blood that saved the Monsignor and reversed his age. It was his blood that,
So do you think that when everyone combusts at the end because that angel dies?
the host died.
No, because they were all dying because they were vampires. Because Riley died, but Riley was bit from the. I don't know. I think they all just died because you could see them start to like.
Well, you see the kids in the boat at the end are like, "Oh, look, there it is," and you see him. You see the angel flying over, and I think she says, "Isn't it like 80 miles?"
Yeah.
And he says, "Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it. That's
Before sunrise.
he can barely fly right now."
Yeah.
I think he's toast.
Yes.
And this Flanagan guy, like he did The Haunting of Hill House, and then he did Bly Manor, which had like 50% of the same cast, and they're different stories, but he uses a lot of the same people to tell similar stories.
Well, who played Nell in Hill House? Because she was in
The
Bly
youngest
Manor,
sister.
but she wasn't in this
Dude,
one.
there's a fucking episode of Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, Bentneck lady?
The bent neck lady. Ugh. That's like one of the harshest fucking episodes of anything I've ever seen.
And the whole time you're just going like, oh my God.
Cringe.
Well,
Oh my God.
I'm only saying it because Mike Flanagan's next thing is called The Midnight Club.
Oh.
It follows a group of 5 terminally ill patients at Rotterdam home who begin to gather together at midnight to share scary stories.
Is Flanagan British?
I don't think so.
My
but
bet is Irish.
you know who's in it?
Oh,
The
of course. That's a great
the
guess.
lady that plays Bev, the guy that played Riley,
His wife.
the younger paralyzed,
she needs to get paid.
the younger paralyzed girl. I'm seeing if anybody.
So
else
same cast, basically.
Those 3. The drunk who was also in.
Dr. Sleep.
He was in Dr. Sleep. So I mean, it's a lot of the same.
There's several producers and movie writers that keep casting the same cast.
Kevin Smith.
Well, for sure, Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
How about M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah, he does it as well.
I mean, he uses the same core people, more or less, outside of Mel Gibson and Mark Wahlberg.
Well, like
a few cast members change, but he loves. I can't think of her name right now. The Village, the girl from The Village. Richie Cunningham's daughter.
Who?
The redhead.
The redhead.
The
The redhead in The Village. The lady in the water.
I never saw the lady in the water. Who? I'm not 100% sure who you're talking about. Like I know.
Well,
it's gonna bug
we
me.
started The Village when we were watching it in the theaters, and Robert figured it out in like 15 minutes,
Yeah.
and he's like, "This is dumb."
I was like, this is taking place now. But
They're
it's
in a park.
Who are you talking
Bryce
about?
Dallas-
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Ron Howard's
Ron
daughter.
Howard's
You said
daughter. That's
Richie-
Richie Cunningham. Happy Days.
I never watched Happy
See,
Days.
I'm older than you. That's why.
Not by that much.
Happy Days were on 24 hours a day when I was a kid.
Okay.
Was it like the TBS show?
I don't know what channel it was on, but it was on every single day.
Mine was Cheers.
They would show Mork and Mindy, Happy Days, Cheers. They would show them all like I think they looped them on one channel. I can't remember. But
I watched a lot of Brady Bunch.
Brady Bunch was in that
I
same
watched
Cheers.
Brady
lineup.
Bunch.
But then it was my thing was like Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
We all watched Saved by the Bell.
We did all watch Saved by the Bell. I was I don't remember how it ended. I just remember every time I would come home from school, there was,
Something.
afternoon cartoons, and then boom, Saved by the Bell music hits, and Saved by the Bell's on.
And there was 2 episodes on one channel, and then like 2 episodes
On a
right after
different
it
one?
on a different channel.
Right.
And they
You
never
could- you
synced
could
up.
And they were at different
No.
times of the seasons. Yeah.
Or they'd be really old one. You're like, wow, look how little they are. And then the next one, they're full grown 30-year-olds acting like.
Did you like Step by Step
Yes.
with Patrick Duffy and Suzanne Summers?
I was TJF.
Yeah, TJF. That was with
That was the
Family
hype.
Matters,
Yep.
and yeah, that was good stuff.
Remember
I didn't
that?
watch that. I
No.
didn't watch that. No.
That was
Step
good.
by Step. I remember the title, but I don't remember if Suzanne Summers, you said, was in that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Three's Company.
I didn't.
Do you remember Three's
I
Company?
didn't watch.
Well,
Three's
I know
Company.
of it,
That's
but
got
we
Ritter,
didn't watch
right?
it.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
Ritter.
Yeah, his son looks just like him. You ever seen him?
He looks spitting image
Yeah.
of him.
I think when I think of John Ritter, I think of Problem Child, and those movies were so terrible.
Oh, I think of Scrubs.
Yeah, he was good in Scrubs.
He was in several movies that I really liked, and I can't think of the name of any of them right now, but I liked his movies more than I did like his sitcoms. Three's Company, he kind of played just like the happy-go-lucky guy, trying to tend to everybody's problems, and he had his female roommates. So if you think about it, Three's Company in the 80s was this...
Yes.
Yes, you know what I'm getting at.
So
This every guy's dream in the 80s. Oh, you have 2 smoking hot roommates?
Sweet.
Oh.
in the 80s and 90s, we didn't have the ability to pause and like slow stuff down. So there's an episode of Three's Company that once you were able to do those things, it shows John Ritter jumping over a couch and his balls come out.
Because he's wearing little dolphin shorts.
And they had to like get rid of that portion of
Get
that
rid of it.
episode. So
Remastered.
yeah, I always thought stuff like that would happen. But to close out on Midnight Mass, this was the perfect time for it to come out. Obviously, that's why it came out. I really enjoyed this a lot. I thought it stuck the landing better than his last couple series.
Agreed.
I really liked Haunting of Hill House, but I don't know if it stuck the landing.
It did not.
That's one of my favorite like creepy atmosphere shows. I really enjoyed. Like with that show, you have to pay attention to what's going on. And like, have you ever
Everywhere.
watched a show? Do you have any like white noise shows that you've watched like 5 or 6
You just
times?
know it's going to happen.
Yes.
When you watch something that many times, I start to watch the secondary and tertiary characters and see what's going on in the background because I've watched it so many times. In Haunting of Hill House, there'll be faces hidden of ghosts at
In the
different
peripheral.
parts in your peripheral,
and you
where you're
have
not
to be
focusing.
looking for them.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's creepy. My favorite one is look, I got goosebumps. There's a guy and he's super, super tall and he's got like the bowler hat and he's got the long trench coat and his cane is moving while he's walking, but his feet aren't touching the ground. He's just floating through the fucking rooms and he steps and he goes right into their beds. It just stops.
With just a cane hitting the floor, and that's it.
And then he'll go to like the next bed. It was like, ugh, creepy.
It was really creepy.
But I'll at this point I'll basically watch anything from Mike Flanagan because I've liked. I guess
What
he
he's
did a
done so
few of
far?
the Ouija movies. Like all his stuff is horror.
Well,
I don't necessarily consider Hush horror. It's more of like a thriller type, like edge of your seat, tense.
tension. Yeah.
And that's how Creep is, honestly, when you're watching it. It's very like,
You're like, oh,
what's
God.
going on? What's going to happen? Why is this happening? I don't know what's going on.
You're trying to predict it before it happens. I think if you've seen enough movies, you've kind of seen every genre, everything that could possibly happen in a movie. And when you don't see that, that's when you're surprised and you love it because all of a sudden you're like, I haven't seen something like this yet.
well, there's
or
a lot of
this little
comedic,
twist.
lighthearted parts in Creep too.
Yeah, and that's why
It makes you like set down your guard. Like you're like, oh,
it really disarms you before it punches you in the mouth.
yes.
There was no humor in Midnight Mass.
No, not at all.
I
No,
don't think
no.
there was supposed to be.
There was absolutely none. Like not even joking, not even with
Nope.
the town drunk. There was no humor.
There was nothing to break that tension for 7 episodes.
Right. And
Well-
then the first 5 episodes, Riley and I were watching it going, wow, this is a lot of sermons. And we're watching and she's like, Dad, did you talk to Robert about this? Did he tell you to watch this? And I said, yes, he did. He also told me it's going to pick up. So stay focused
Just stay
here.
with it.
Stay with it. And then sure enough, it hits you right in the face.
Well, that's, I think, how it reflected the life on the island. Like, it's the same thing every day.
Monotony.
Like, you go to church every day.
Yeah.
And if
You
you
know.
don't go to church, there's somebody taking notes that you didn't go to church.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I remember, I think I was in the 4th grade when they decided that each of the grades from 4th grade and up had to go to church every day, Monday through Friday. So like 4th grade was Monday and then 5th grade was Tuesday. And so every week we had to go on our day.
Did
And
it ever get to the point where you just
You
start
memorized
tuning,
the
no,
verses?
just tuning stuff out? You're like, then you just go somewhere else in your mind.
It got to the point where I could verbally repeat what verses the priests were saying and all the little things because I had heard it so many times.
My pastor
Wow.
died of mad cow disease.
Mad cow disease? Wow.
Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease, I think is the actual, I don't know
Terminology?
how to pronounce it. It's the actual terminology for it. Yeah, he died of mad cow disease from a organ transplant that had it when he had it. I mean, he had it for like 30 years before it killed him.
Wow.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that.
I am not on the donor list.
No?
Oh, I'm
No.
a donor.
You don't want, I'm a donor. You don't want them harvesting you?
No.
You think they won't try hard to survive, to save you?
Because I mean, if you look at it, they try to get you to become a donor, saying, "Oh, if you have a family member that may need to use your organs,
Oh, I didn't
that
think
will
about that.
never happen. That will never happen. There is no way a
Statistically,
family.
I
Yeah,
mean,
That you'd be a match
one
for
in a
your
million.
family.
yeah.
well,
one
that
in
you
a
would
million.
also die. Also, you'd be a match, and also they would need that specific organ.
Right.
Yeah, and then they lifelike your dead body out of there so that they can get your organs.
I just read a thing about a 55-year-old father of 3 who died in his bathroom. He had a brain aneurysm and was gone. And I shouldn't read stuff
No,
like
you
that.
should not.
But-
Not you.
But didn't affect me like that. It was just that with a situation like that, when you had a brain aneurysm, all his other organs are perfectly fine. So he was able to donate his lung, his liver, his kidneys, all those things. So, I mean, there are instances. I mean, I'm an organ donor.
I'm going to get burned up anyway, so might as well use what you can.
I don't
Good
even,
luck.
I don't even care.
that was my feeling. Like when I first got my driver's license, I was a donor because I didn't really know much about it. Donor, so they can use my organ. Okay, whatever, no problem. Just went along with it. And then as I got older, I'm like, I don't want anyone using my organs.
That's a personal choice.
There's a million, multi-million people out there that are probably going to donate their
Yeah.
organs.
Would you
No.
donate an organ to somebody, like a kidney? Like if
I
you knew
would.
somebody that was
I
dying?
would if I knew somebody, if I knew the person for sure, I would do it.
Okay. Yeah, Midnight Mass is pretty good. It's we've had these like philosophical talks at work, and I've had them with friends and stuff. And the closest thing I've seen ever represented to what I believe happens when you die is what Riley says when he dies. Is you have this
Nice long dream.
this dump of everything in your brain.
Memory.
And to me, if you lived the best life you could and you lived a good life, then you feel like you have this endless dream while you're dying, and you close your eyes, whatever, and what is it? Endorphins? Is that what it is? Your endorphin dump? Serotonin. So if you lived a good life, then that last dream that you don't know how long it's going to last is going to be a good one, and you're going to remember all the great things. And if you lived a shitty, terrible life, that's hell, and you're going to be stuck with that until the energy from your body is done and you just die. And I found it kind of cool. I mean, he got a little emotional about it. I'm just like, somebody asked me, so when you're dead? I was like, nothing was here before you were here. You weren't thought of. When you're dead, I mean, it's going to be the same thing. Everything's gone.
That's the biggest mystery in life.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows.
Nobody.
But we have this young kid that we know, and he's 20, and he said, I don't know how I would live if I didn't think there was an afterlife and all that. And I said, that's a crutch. That's you clinging to something so you can make, and I think that's what a lot of religion is for people is it's just a crutch for you.
Scared of not knowing
for
what
you
happens.
to be able to just live from day to day.
A lot of people need an out. And, they'll use that like, oh, I'm going to go get myself forgiven. I'll be okay. I'll be washed clean. And then they still continue to make the wrong decision week after week. That's why I call them Sunday Catholics.
I'm not saying that that's not possible. It could. I mean, I could be wrong.
I don't fucking know.
There you go again. The greatest mystery.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah, what happens?
And it's not going to matter because then once it's over, it's over.
But I also know people that say they believe because he's like, oh, you never know. Why wouldn't you? I'm just covering all my bases. I'm like, come on, that's a cop out. That's not really believing.
I just try to do the best I can every day and then move on to the next day.
There you go.
Yep. Raise your kids right.
Yeah.
Not try to.
But next episode is going to be Ted Lasso. Do you want to say final thoughts on this show before I move on?
I actually thought this show was really good. At first, the first 4 episodes when we were going through, I'm like, man, did Robert give me a bummer just to see what
how
my
long I'll watch
reaction?
it?
How long I'll watch this show when he only went 2
That would have
episodes?
been good.
You could have got me.
I never thought about doing that.
You actually could have got me. I would have watched it all the way through no matter what. But the first 4 episodes, I said, "Oh man,
What shows have I recommended to you?"
Shows Ted Lasso, movie Hush,
Yeah.
which I thought, as a horror fan, I what do you call me? A slasher fan?
Yeah, I would.
Okay, I'm a slasher fan, right? So on Hush, while we're still talking about Flanagan, I expected the killer to not be a skinny, weaselly guy that got hurt with every little thing she did in trying to fight him off and climbing up the lattice and this,
how is he accomplishing this?
As an old school 80s slasher fan,
They just get up and erect and keep going forward.
or it didn't have the oh my gosh, don't go in the closet. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Because everybody does that during these slasher films, right? But he was a skinny nerd. Really,
He was a thief.
He's a thief. He's a thief that just showed up on this house.
Got a lady who can't talk.
Yeah, and
Trapped her in her house.
I think they could have made that much more gruesome for.
Oh, they could have.
For I forget the actress's name, but Flanagan's wife, right?
Yeah.
Isn't her name like Siegel something?
Yeah.
Yeah, Katie.
Katie Siegel.
Katie. But had they made the killer a little crazier, that show could have gone a whole lot longer and been way more aggressive on the part of that killer's instincts versus the way that when it ended, I was kind of like, I was disappointed. I'm glad it's over, but man, she could have really wrecked this guy.
Yeah.
Or he could have done more damage to her, but I mean, I think she hits him with, what she hit him, or no, she takes a pair of scissors to his jugular, I think, right?
Oh, I can't remember.
And that's how it ends. He just bleeds out on the floor. But the 80s slasher film fan in me was like,
I need a sequel.
This guy needs to get up. This guy needs to get up. There's more damage to be done.
You didn't die.
There's a movie coming out this month on Netflix. They said that's like a throwback to like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Those are great.
Yeah, and I liked those a lot. So I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure it'll pop up on Netflix over the next week.
You might want to watch this.
Yeah, I think they said it was coming out the first week of October. So I wanted to watch that. I will never recommend a show to you that I don't think you'll like. That's why I never recommend.
Well, you're going to do
shows
it now that Katrina told you to.
No, I don't. He doesn't do that. So people have been trying to get him to watch Monster Squad for like 10 15 years.
I've never seen it.
And he's never seen it.
You've never seen it?
Never seen it.
That's like a big 80s movie.
Huge.
Like right around
Monster
Goonies
Squad
and
is?
stuff. Yeah.
And they're like, you got to watch it. It's the best.
Who's
and Robert's
in it?
like, I'm going to watch this and not be happy that I'm watching it. So why am I going to? That's my thing. If I'm not going to be happy with what I'm watching, why am I wasting my time?
Right, because
so
someone asked you
we
to.
watched The White Lotus, and I am so mad that we started it because when I start something, I'm probably going to finish it because I've already invested my time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so disappointed.
Which is funny. Do you know who Craig Elston is?
I do.
Yeah, him and I will go back and forth on something because he has a podcast like this.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he's recommended a bunch of shows, and I've I picked up on some of them and liked some of them, and I've asked him if he's watching some shows. Like I asked him if he was watching Midnight Mass. He hadn't started it yet. He actually recommended Invincible, which I was recommending to everybody.
Yeah.
But he said that White Lotus was one of his favorite shows of the whole year, and I'm like,
why?
It didn't hit me like that.
No,
I did not like it.
like nothing got accomplished in that entire show.
Yeah,
And I'm just sitting there going like, why did I spend my time watching this?
Wasted
Total
time.
waste.
Monster Squad came out in 1987, so that was like
Who's in it?
People.
That's a great answer.
I'm looking. I'm going through here. Nobody that I really know, but people talk about it all the time. Uncle
when you
Rico.
first said it, I thought you were talking about Little Monsters.
I love Little Monsters with Howie Mandel and Fred Savage.
Maybe you should start there with Parker.
That's a good idea. You know, I've thought about that before, and it kind of
because it's lighthearted, but still, I mean, it's kind of scary that
That guy
somebody's
at
living under your bed.
Oh, the bad guy at the end kind of scared me.
Who was the kid who, as a kid, did not think that there might be some monster under their bed or in their closet?
At some point,
And
everybody.
then Monsters Inc. Disney took that too.
Yeah, that was good.
Monsters in the Closet.
But you know, Katrina and I have started. The next episode will be season finale, season 2 of Ted Lasso, and
Yay.
we dove headfirst into Squid Game, which I highly recommend.
I have heard around the way that Squid Game is great. My wife actually mentioned it to me yesterday.
Really?
Yesterday morning. Hey, so there's this game show that we have to watch, and I'm like, game show? What are you talking about? She's like, yeah, I think it's Japanese or Korean.
It's Korean.
Yeah, it's Korean.
Do not listen to the English track, please.
Well, because the mouth doesn't match up.
It's not only
It's
that,
not
it's
even
like
that.
it's
It's
so-
awful.
it's
You got
so
like Kung Fu Theater. Did you ever watch Kung Fu
No,
Theater when
but
you were as a kid?
No.
No.
But this is so over the top, cheese,
Awful.
dramatic. It's terrible. So we turned the Korean on and the subtitles.
And just we're reading the
It just-
subtitles.
It's way better.
Way better.
Okay, good. Because I know you can get it in like a bunch of different languages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she says, there's this game show we got to watch. I'm like, what do you mean a game show we got to watch? She's like, yeah, it's like number 1 all time already on Netflix. And I said,
60
what?
countries.
What?
Yeah.
It's a game show?
It's
Like,
not-
what do you mean it's a game show? Then she puts it on Netflix, and sure enough, it pops up, and I'm watching. I'm like, this is a show. This is not. This is fabricated. This is not a real
not
game
real.
show. Like I was expecting, some crazy game show that she's like, no, but like people are like die, and I'm like, wait, what? What are
Yeah,
you talking
it's-
about?
Did you never see Battle Royale?
I never. I think I did.
He
This-
showed me that.
This is more along the lines when Craig Elston was explaining it. He said Battle Royale meets Hunger Games meets Willy Wonka.
Yeah,
And
I've
it's-
heard a lot of comps to Hunger Games.
and it's pretty spot on. But it's
To Willy Wonka, is that the part in the trailer that I saw is like it looks like they're playing hide and seek, but there's only one tree and there's this like mechanical robot girl
They're
behind the
playing-
tree.
That's red light, green
they're
light.
playing red light, green
Oh,
light.
red light, green light. That's
And-
the robot's got a gun.
No,
No.
there's people in. It's
Oh, there's like
people on
snipers?
yeah.
Oh,
and if you
man.
don't stop moving,
You get sniped.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna watch it. I mean, it's the most popular show in the world.
yeah.
Most streamed on Netflix ever, right?
Good for that
And
guy.
that guy had been pitching that since 2009.
Yeah, for a long time I read that.
Good for him.
But
He's
yeah.
gonna get his money.
He's getting paid.
If you're listening to this, Midnight Mass and Squid Games this month, especially good for the month of October.
We still need to watch some more Halloween movies.
Yeah, this weekend. We should tomorrow night.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. But that'll be this week's. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Finally.
Thank you guys for having me.
You want to come on again?
Absolutely.
We gotta line something up at the same time. We can't. I mean, we could come and do a Padres episode and just be bitter and upset for
we
2
could
hours.
we could do Padres.
a
We
lot
could
of
talk
that.
about Little League. Had our board meeting tonight.
Oh God.
You did?
We did. We had our first official board meeting tonight.
Okay, we're gonna go, and we'll be back. We're gonna record in 3 days, so we'll be back shortly.